What is going on, YouTube? Joe here with Culination Media, and welcome back for another live Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Wi-Fi battle against a subscriber/follower on Twitter. Today, we're going up against Jake in an Ubers match, and this is going to be the final time that we're using this team, which is a little bit sad just because, I don't know, it just is. I'm always sad for the third battle with a team because, I don't know, I just get randomly attached to them for whatever reason. But I probably should go over the team here in case you guys forget what we're running. We have Choice Band Zekrom. It's also packing the Volt Switch so we can get some momentum. So that's cool stuff. The thing really just wall breaks better than almost anything in the tier. It's ridiculous how powerful things like Outrage and Bolt Strike are. Then we have Mega Mewtwo X, which hasn't seen a lot of screen time so far. It's actually a bulk up set. It's got Rock Slide for things like Ho-Oh and Lugia, Drain Punch, and then it's also packing the Taunt to prevent things like Giratina from Willowing it. Then we have Ferroseed because I had to bring something that was a lower tiered mon. I didn't even want to bring a Ferrothorn, which, because this is Ubers, would still be a lower tiered mon. But yeah, it's a Ferroseed. It actually does stop things like Zekrom pretty easily, which is interesting. We then have a Tentacruel, which my opponent apparently is also bringing as well, so we gotta watch out for that. Mine is specially defensive. It's also packing the Toxic Spikes, which probably will not help me too much in this battle because Suicune usually has Rest, although this is one of my subscribers, so I don't know if he's going to be bringing a Crocoon. Probably not, but there's also that possibility. I still don't want to just set up Toxic Spikes, and he has a Tentacruel anyway, so yeah, it can just absorb that or Rapid Spin other hazards away. Then we have Defensive Yveltal, which came in very, very clutch for us in the first battle. Didn't get a lot of action the second time, so we'll see what happens this time around. And then last but not least, we have our Choice Scarf Kyogre, which hits like a truck because this is a slow Scarf. It's got modest nature, but Choice Scarf Water Spout in the rain is nothing to laugh at. Choice Specs hits way harder, of course, but Choice Scarf still is nothing to laugh at. So I'm guessing he's got the Mega Slowbro here. He's got the Ho-Oh, which I'm probably going to have to hit with a Bolt Strike or a Rock Slide from Mega Mewtwo. Ho-Oh is one of the bigger threats on the team, actually. Ho-Oh is the problem. It can do a lot of different things. It's a good Choice Band user, and it's also pretty good defensively because it has Roost and Regenerator and all that stuff. So he's going to go in with the Ho-Oh. Oh, the beautiful shiny Ho-Oh. That is gorgeous, and this is a great matchup for me. He's definitely got to switch. Just a matter of what he wants to switch into. I'm so tempted to just click Bolt Strike, and I'm just going to. I want to hit something hard. He actually stays in to go for the knockoff. This is Zoroark. He's going to knock off my Choice Band, and we missed the Bolt Strike, too. Are you kidding me? Oh, that's not good. That is not good. I mean, that's not really hacks. It's like, I think it has the same accuracy as Fire Blast, so, I mean, it's hard to complain if you're using a move like that and you miss. But that was just a fail of a turn, basically, because for some reason I wasn't thinking it was going to be Zoroark. But it is. It's not really much I can do about it. Props to bringing Tentacruel and Zoroark to an Ubers match, by the way. In fact, I think, was Ho-Oh his only Uber? It might have been. The rest of his Pokemon were, like, lower-tiered stuff. So, I mean, it even kind of made my team look a little bit try-hard, I guess. He is going to go for the Dark Pulse. We should be able to take that. And we do. Oh, and we get the flinch. We get the flinch. So, Zekrom is neutered, basically. Instead of wall breaking, we're dead if we don't switch out. So I'm going to save it for later, because if we can outspeed something, that would be nice. I'm going to go right into my Yveltal here, as he is going to go for the Dark Pulse. I was kind of expecting another knockoff, but maybe he was thinking it might not kill if I do stay in, and he doesn't want to take a lot of damage, because I'm assuming that he's Focus Sash, just because he hasn't shown Life Orb, and it's really common for Zoroark to have Life Orb. So if we can get some hazards up and keep them up by getting rid of that Tentacruel, then we'll be in good shape against the Zoroark later on. He is going to go into the Slowbro, actually, on Yveltal, which is kind of interesting because even though this thing has a just huge amount of physical defense, that Foul Play did a lot of damage. That did way too much. I'm going to taunt you. I don't want you doing anything, basically. I don't want you recovering off that damage. I do not want to get Thunder Waved. I don't want to get Toxicked. Oh, he's actually just going to switch out and get the Regenerator. Okay then, fair enough. So he's going to go into Mana Wall, which is the Tentacruel. Taunting that is nice in case he does have the Toxic Spikes. And at the same time, we get a little bit of Lefty's recovery, so the damage that we took from the Dark Pulse from the Zoroark is basically non-existent now. So we're only missing 6 HP. A whopping 6 HP. This could be a decent time to... I kind of want to go right into Ferroseed, because Tentacruel can't do anything. I mean, I can't really do anything back, and it can just... Yeah, it can just... Rapid Spin away all my hazards. But I could paralyze it, slow it down a little bit, just to ensure that Zekrom can outspeed it. Because if it's an offensive variant, it does have a higher base speed than Zekrom. Yeah, it's kind of deceiving that Tentacruel has base 100 speed. But I'm actually going to forego that. Don't want to mess around with Tentacruel. I kind of want to eliminate it. So I'm going to go right into Kyogre and take a more offensive approach to this, because they can hit it with a Thunder. And he's just going to go for the Scald. It is boosted by the Rain here, but even still, that's not going to do too much. Still kind of hard to tell whether or not that's offensive. But I'm still going to go for the Thunder. I'm not going to make any crazy predictions. His team is so weak to Electric. He's got a Tentacruel, he's got a Ho-Oh, and Slowbro, so that's half his team right there that just dies to a Thunder. Plus, Zoroark is not switching in on any attack. It won't be switching in ever unless it gets a safe switch. So he really doesn't have much to go into here. He basically has, he just has to sack something, essentially. What is he switching into? Plaything, what is that? It's the Bayonet. So that would be the only other thing on his team that isn't hit super effectively by Thunder, but it's still going to take a lot of damage. It's going to do over half. And yeah, that did like 75% to this thing. Poor Plaything. I don't think I agree with that play. I really don't. He may try to go for a Destiny Bond here, but he doesn't get his Prankster until the following turn, so I don't think I really have much to lose from going for Thunder. Even though he knows I'm Choice Scarfed, even if I wasn't, I'm still going to outspeed you. So yeah, he's going to show the Mega Evolution here. Does he have the Protect? That is the question. Nope, he's just going to let his Bayonet go down, which is actually huge. Huge, because this thing could have been a big problem with those Destiny Bonds and Will-O-Wisps. That could have been a really, really big problem. So him just sacking it like that and not really getting anything out of it is a huge help to my team. Now, every single time that Kyogre comes out, it's going to get a kill, basically, because he has no switch-ins. 0 switch-ins. So we're going to save this. This is probably going to be Zoroark. It has to be. There's no reason for him to bring in Ho-Oh in the rain against a Kyogre that's Choice Scarfed. It's just, that would just be silly. So we're going to make the appropriate switch into the Yveltal again. Even though I made that switch last time, I still don't think he can do much other than get rid of my lefties. He probably has Flamethrower, I would guess. A lot of them do carry the Flamethrower. A lot of them carry Grass Knot as well. Especially if he's going to be using it in Ubers, I would think that Grass Knot would be the way to go because of all these heavy Pokemon. Grass Knot and Low Kick hit for base 120 power on almost everything in the tier. So yeah, it just doesn't scare me. I resist all of those things except for Flamethrower, and it's not going to do much in the rain anyway. So he is going to go ahead to Breeze the Suicune, and we're going to hit him up with a Foul Play, which does not do very much. The rain is going to stop, which is actually kind of nice because I don't want to take rain boosted Scalds, especially if this thing is Crocoon and he's going to start setting up. And I don't really like that so much. We could take this opportunity to go out into Ferroseed again and either paralyze it or start setting up some hazards and pressure that Suicune, the Tentacruel. Excuse me. But I'm also very tempted to just go right into Zekrom here because unless he goes for Ice Beam, he's not going to kill me with a Scald. So if he doesn't get the burn, I kill something basically. Unless this is offensive Suicune, in which case he outspeeds me. But I think the safer play is probably going out into... I mean, I actually have a lot of safe plays, to be honest. This Suicune isn't too scary to my team. I have Tentacruel, I have Kyogre, Ferroseed. Those are all relatively safe switches, unless for some reason he's carrying, like, extra sensory and or Hidden Power Fire. I'm just going to go into Ferroseed. I'm kind of just blabbering here. But I was having some trouble making that decision. Just wanted to make sure that I got it right. And he actually is going to go for the sub. Oh, he sub Calm Mind. That was not the right decision. That's pretty darn cool, but it's also pretty darn scary. Because while my team doesn't fear this thing too much, as far as its coverage moves are concerned, because I just have a lot of resistances, if it starts getting up a lot of boosts, I'm going to have to either take heavy damage on something or just sack something. And that may be when I sack Zekrom. I may have to, and kind of hope that it's defensive. I mean, I'm kind of thinking that it might be defensive just because it has shown the lefties, but that doesn't really mean anything, because things like Chandelure run sub Calm Mind with max speed, so, I mean, it could happen. It could happen. You don't see Suicune in Ubers too often, so I don't really know what kind of set he wanted to bring. To be fair, you don't see Ferroseed either, so I kind of just brought it to be silly. I'm going to go into Zekrom here. He's probably going to use a setup move of some kind, and if he just tries to kill me, that'd be even better, I guess, because I don't want him to set up, and then I can break his sub with Kyogre, and he is just going to go for the Scald, so he's not going to set up at all. This is not going to kill me, and if he doesn't get the burn, we're good. No burn! Okay, so we're going to get to break this substitute, and actually, if I wanted to, I could save Zekrom here by going for Volt Switch. And then we could use it for fodder later on still. Thought I was going to use it for fodder here, but that is not the case. So, yeah. And the reason I don't want to lock myself into something like Outrage is just because he can go into Zoroark, which does outspeed me, and then Revenge Kill me pretty easily. So, I don't want that. We're just going to Volt Switch away, and we'll save this Zekrom for later. It's probably just going to be fodder, to be honest. But I mean, because his team is so weak to electric, it would have been nice to not have this thing get hacked at the beginning of the battle, because it lost all that HP without being able to do anything. And it didn't even have to switch in, like it was there from turn 1, still was not able to do anything. So at this point, what do I want to go into to take a hit? Hopefully he doesn't go for another sub, because I don't want to take damage on anything else. That would actually be a really good play if he did. But I think my only play here is Kyogre, because while I could taunt with Mega Mewtwo, I still don't want to take Scalds, because he will eventually get a burn, and I don't have any way to remedy that. He's actually going to go for the Ice Beam, so I'm not sure how I feel about that play. I feel like he could have just killed me with Scald there, and Scald at least has the chance to burn whatever would come in. But maybe he just was worried that it wasn't going to kill. And, I mean, if it didn't kill, then he could have potentially been in trouble there, because then yeah, I mean, I guess you got to be safe. It's hard to tell, because he's not actually looking at the HP number. He's looking at the HP bar, so it's quite deceiving. But now I get a kill, because this Suicune's not going to want to take a Thunder, and he has no switch-ins. So he actually leaves it in. And this, I don't know if it's going to kill. It's going to do a lot. Yeah, it's not going to kill because it's a Suicune, and he's just going to go for Scald, probably fishing for a burn, which is not a bad play. And he is actually going to get that burn, which is completely okay, because, I mean, the residual damage stinks, and clearly I won't be using Water Pulse, or not Water Pulse. Yeah, I have Water Pulse Kyogre. I meant to say Water Spout. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just combined Water Spout and Origin Pulse, I think, in my head, and made up a move that already exists. Oh well. We'll just go for Thunder again, and now something dies. Now something definitely dies. He has no switch-ins. 0 switch-ins. If I had Choice Scarf Zekrom, that would have been fantastic. That probably would have worked even better than Kyogre being Choice Scarf, to be honest. But these Thunders still do a number on his team. And he really has no choice but to sack Suicune here. We get a meaningless critical hit. And that's a big threat out of the way. Suicune is always a problem. Regardless of what set it's running, it's always an issue when you see it on the other side, unless you have something that is kind of like a dedicated counter to it. I got a little bit lucky here, I guess. But we see Emperor come out, the Ho-Oh slash Zoroark. It's probably Zoroark. That's what he switched in the last couple of times. And by last couple of times, I mean the only other time that Kyogre was in. So, like I said that time, I think it's highly unlikely that he was actually going to switch in his Ho-Oh in the rain against the Kyogre. that's locked into Thunder and that he knows is Choice Scarf. So I'm going to make the exact same switch just because I have no reason to predict here. I can absorb a knockoff very well because my item has already been knocked off, and Dark Pulse is not going to do too much. So he actually goes for the Hyper Voice this time, predicting that switch because he knows that that is my safe switch in. So that was a good play. Get some damage off. I can roost that off though. So he likely has to switch here or risk breaking his Sash. Or just taking a lot of damage. I mean, I have to think that he is... Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily just Sash. He could be... No, he's not Choiced because he switched moves. He went for Knockoff and then Dark Pulse before. And he's not Life Orb. Maybe he's Black Glasses. That would be cool. Probably just Sash, though, honestly. That's probably the most likely thing because Zoroark is so ridiculously frail. Especially in a tier like Uber's. It just gets one-shotted by almost everything. So he goes into the Tentacruel to take that, and it takes it very well because it's a Tentacruel. Probably should have roosted there, to be honest. I talked about it, and then I didn't even click roost. At this point, what do I want to do? I still have Ferroseed, which is in good condition. But I may want to save that for Ho-Oh as a switch into a Brave Bird, potentially, to get some Iron Barbs and such. Because if he locks himself into Brave Bird, Ferroseed can probably take 2 of those. But I am going to switch here. We don't want to stay in with Yveltal, so I'm just going to sack off my Zekrom at this point. I don't think that we really need it, and I would like to get another safe switch into Kyogre, as he does go for Scald. Now, I could have gone into something else to try to pivot into Zekrom, but it can't take a hit at 14 HP, and I'm better off just using what has a better HP stat at this point, and that is Kyogre. And like I said, multiple times already, he has no switch-ins to it. Actually, I could go into Mewtwo here too, but I'm so afraid of the Scald, though. That's the thing. That's what I don't like. So I think I do have to go into Kyogre. It's tempting. I just want Mega Mewtwo to see some action because he's been on the field for a total of like, what, 4 turns in 2 battles? And one of them he was just used as fodder to get poison damage off on a Xerneas that was about to sweep me. So we just click Thunder at this point. Mindless use of the Choice Scarf Kyogre. I don't know if this is going to kill. Depends on if he's physically defensive or not. And he is not physically defensive at all, clearly. Or, I'm sorry, not specially defensive at all. He's physically defensive. That's what I meant to say. You guys know what I was saying. We're on the same wavelength here. Just because what comes out of my mouth doesn't make sense doesn't mean that you don't understand. You guys understand me. So out comes Emperor. I really think this is the actual Ho-Oh this time, because he did it twice before. I'm so tempted to just click Thunder again. I am really, really tempted, but I have nothing for Mega Slowbro, or what I assume is Mega Slowbro. No, it's not Mega Slowbro. He had a Bayonet. What am I talking about? I'm getting all my battles confused. Everything all blends together. That's a regular Slowbro. I don't know why. Don't even know why that crossed my mind. But I'm just going to make the play again. I'm going to go into Yveltal, and we'll see what he does. He goes for the Hyper Voice, so this is not Ho-Oh. This is Zoroark. That did a lot of damage. Wow. Did that do more this time? I think he can kill me here. That's not okay. I'm going to click Roost, and he is going to just click Hyper Voice again. And... oh, we survived with 12. I don't know if that was a roll, but it did appear to be quite close. Now, it wasn't doing that. It wasn't doing enough to kill me from there unless he gets a crit. So I can Roost again here. And if he stays in, that's actually great, because we get more HP back. And if he switches, then we get back up to full. He's going to go for the Flamethrower, possibly predicting me to go into Ferroseed. But with the rain up, that wouldn't kill anyway. And we do get a Roost off. So, I mean, if he went for Hyper Voice there, this Yveltal would be dead because he did get a critical hit. So, he's probably going to switch. No, he's just going to go for the Hyper Voice. Okay. Fair enough. We can take 2 of those, and we get a foul playoff. So if this is Sash Zoroark, which we won't know because we only brought him down to about 50%, but we should be able to take him out with a Sucker Punch from there, I would think. So he's either going to switch or he's just going to sack this thing, basically. Actually, will Sucker Punch kill from there? Well, no, I kind of want to Roost. Let's Roost off whatever damage he does first. Just because I don't have lefties, so I can't play this as aggressively. And the Sucker Punch could be useful against the Slowbro later on. So I don't want to just throw away the battle by throwing away my Yveltal for no reason. We know how valuable it can be. I think it's really cool that he's running Hyper Voice on this too. So he's got Dark Pulse, Knockoff, Hyper Voice, Flamethrower. So no Grass Knot. Not that that really matters, because the only team member that really cares about that is Kyogre. And it's already burned it at low health anyway. So let's go for the Sucker Punch. And that is going to be enough to take out the Zoroark. Probably thanks to our Dark Aura ability. And he's down to 2 Pokemon now. He's got the Emperor, the real Emperor, Shiny Ho-Oh, which we now know is a Ho-Oh every time. And wait a minute, did Ho-Oh show the pressure when it was the Zoroark? I don't know if it did. I gotta go back and watch that to see if it actually shows up, because that would have been a... Oh, wait a minute, it's pressure. Why is it not Regenerator? Well, I guess it's an in-game Ho-Oh. He probably soft resetted for that, actually. And it's shiny. That's pretty cool. Not gonna lie, that's pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome. In fact, my my competitive Ho-Oh is pressure too, because I soft resetted for it. So I don't know what I'm talking about. Now, I don't know exactly how I want to handle this. I don't have a completely safe switch. I don't need Tentacruel at all. That's for sure. So I am going to go into it. And if it becomes a sack, then that's just what it is. Because, yeah, there's just no reason for me to keep it. It doesn't do anything against Slowbro. So he goes for the Sacred Fire. I actually take that enough to be able to take one more. Unless he gets a burn. And it's like a 50% chance. So the chances are pretty slim. Now, he does show the Life Orb as well. So that's something. At least we know that he's not locked in. But I think I want to go for... I mean, I guess I can just go for Scald for damage. He may actually switch out here. But you know what? I'm going to actually Toxic Spikes. I'm going to predict him to stay in, which he does. And that means that we get residual damage off on Slowbro. That way it can't stall me out as effectively if it comes down to that. And he is going to show off the EQ here and take us out. And it's not like we didn't get any prior damage off in this thing. It does have the Life Orb recoil, so we at least have that working for us. And besides, Ho-Oh actually has very good natural special defense. So a Scald from a defensive Tentacruel probably wasn't going to be doing too much. So I don't think it was really worth it. I would much rather have that Toxic Spike up for the Slowbro coming in to ensure that it gets worn down. So, and at this point, as long as we keep our Kyogre alive, we're fine. We outspeed Ho-Oh. We know it's not Choice Scarf. I can just Mega Evolve and go straight for the Rock Slide. I was kind of half expecting him to want to switch out there, but he had no way to know what Mewtwo form this was. So I don't really blame him, because he probably just went for probably Brave Bird, I guess. But we're going to be able to get off that Rock Slide as we do outspeed. We get a critical hit, which is unfortunate, but also meaningless, because that's a 4-time super effective move on an offensive Ho-Oh that already took 20% from Life Orb recoil. So, yeah, it didn't matter at all. Out comes Slurp. It's actually a pretty interesting name for a Slowbro. But I think we are good here. It depends on what set this is, obviously, and if he gets burns and such. But I'm going to go right into Ferroseed, because that's at least going to wear him down, and I can kind of get an idea on what his moveset is. If he starts setting up boosts... oh, he's going to rest. Oh, rest. Okay, we're going to get to see here if he's Resto Chesto. So no more poison for you. And yeah, it looks like he is Resto Chesto. So fair enough. At least we know that he doesn't get Lefty's recovery. But now I'm going to Leech Seed you, for sure. Because you can't switch out, so you can't get away from that. And... I mean, the only other status condition I can really give to you at this point is T-Waving you. And I don't think I'm about that life. I'm not in the T-Waving a Slowbro business. That just seems kind of silly. So, he is going to go for the Scald, and that's probably his only attacking move, to be honest. Or he has a Psychic move, which is also resisted by Ferroseed, and he wants to just try to go for a Burn, which would be a good play. And so we are going to wear this thing down. It's unfortunate that he's not going to be poisoned, but Leech Seed works just as well, especially because that recovered all of the damage that we took from Scald. He's not in a good position here. I really need to sack something, though, and get a safe switch into Kyogre. I don't want to switch it in on an attack, because if he gets a crit, or, I mean, not even without a crit, if he goes for Scald, Rain boosted, plus burn damage, that could be enough to take me out, and I don't really want to take that chance. So, yeah, because that could potentially be a win condition, depending on what the rest of his set is. Doesn't look like he's Calm Mind, though, because he's just spamming Scald at this point. So, I am going to go into Yveltal. At the very least, we'll be able to get off some damage. As unfortunately, he does not get the burn. We do get our Leech Seed recovery, and now we can fire off a Foul Play or a Sucker Punch. I'm going to go for Sucker Punch, just because it probably will do a little bit more. And was that a crit? That is not even a critical hit. That just nearly O-code that Slowbro. Wow. That's ridiculous. That's defensive Yveltal, too. On a Slowbro, of all things. It did have a little bit of prior damage, but still, that was crazy. So anyway, that's going to be the match there. So that was a 3 or a 4-0. I didn't even look at the screen in our favor. So that was kind of a lot of fun. I hope to have some more Ubers battles coming to the channel in the future. I want to say good game and thank you for the battle to Jake. You'll see him down in the comment section. Make sure you give him a GG, compliment him, all that good stuff. You know, just be good people like we all are. So with that being said, that's going to be it for this time. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you're leaving a like rating or a comment or whatever you would like to do, and I will see you all next time. And until then, game on.